But let's go ahead and drop that one, because one other thought. The idea of the relaxation, like a closed fist, is the mind is sort of like the human mind anyway, especially when it's stressed, is a closed fist, and it takes effort to maintain. The natural state is an open hand that receives, and probably passes along whatever it's given, because that's, it's open to the flow. But when it takes effort to maintain the constriction, basically, but eventually you'll get tired and it'll relax of itself. That's one idea. And grasping, trying to grasp. I had a metaphor of a floating dandelion seed. The little ball that floats in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you put your hand out underneath it, it will settle. It'll come to you. But if you grasp for it, you create wind that keeps you from getting it. So any self-effort of trying to grasp something actually pushes away whatever it is you're trying to grasp. And that applies mentally and physically.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
The child always comes up, and I think I did a whole bunch of bookmarks on the Child Within Us Lives this morning. And the neat thing about that is I get to revisit. Invariably, one of the titles I'm doing for a bookmark will catch my attention, and I'll revisit that one. And this one, it's almost like trying to define the child. And it was number 7 in the back half of the overtone section, and at some point you might explain the overtone to the folks out there, but it's the overtone section of the back end of the Child Within Us Lives, and it's titled "The Child Equals Heart Equals Soul, the Overlooked Simplicity." And let me just read the first paragraph and see what pops up for you after I've finished that, if that's okay.
Yeah, do.
Okay. I have never talked heart to heart with a single person who hasn't admitted that the child was still there within him, struggling perhaps, or a distant dream from the past, but still there. All of us continue to dream dreams and wonder about soft things. The heart of us still goes leaping through the high places of imagination occasionally and soars with the high-flying swallows to see the far side of the moon. That is the child at work. Yes, the child still lives.
Wow. Bill, dear Bill. Wow. Isn't he just wonderful?
Yes, he is.
That's it. And the child is alive in each of us, and he just says it so beautifully. It's that gentle, soft, tender, and boy, I just know that his message about this is the answer. It doesn't have to go through anybody's religion or anybody's intellect, or it just is the real thing. And how beautiful that he can say that like that.
Let me continue, because this is for the intellectual sides of us, because as he goes on, he unites a lot of what normally would be seen as disparate concepts and things that are normally very hard to define. He sort of does what I like to do is a cross-triangulation of what are normally seen as different concepts, but as you put them together, you see they're all pointing to the same thing. Here's the next paragraph. Moreover, this inner one, the old/new child of us, is healthy and well, absolutely all right in every way. None of its enthusiasm has been dulled by the years. Its eyesight is as sharp as an eagle's, its hearing keen as a puppy's, and all the feelings of youth are pounding with excitement exactly as they did when we were children, unencumbered by the world. Yes. I'll continue.
Okay.
Much has been said about the heart of us. Great theological positions have been established around the immortal soul. Reader, listen with that heart of yours for a minute. The little child of us, the heart of us, and the soul of us are the same one. Whatever we have come to perceive with the heart has been a recognition of that eternal child within. And now, as I write of the one, I address the heart, the soul, with which we are all concerned. Oh yes, the heart and soul of us, the child, is still right here, quite capable of confirming itself, evidencing itself, and revitalizing our view of everything. As the years pass and the world encroaches relentlessly, we lose sight of this original nature, of identity, except as an old photograph or a memory etched somewhere in an inaccessible point. It comes as a surprise to hear that the original child and all its feelings are still around. Then it comes as a wonderment to learn firsthand that they are not inaccessible at all, but still right here, closer than breathing, closer than fingers and toes.
Beautiful. That's it. That's it. And that's what I found. Exactly what I found. It is the little girl I was. She comes back. Only this time it's so extraordinary because all along it's like that child knows the infinite totality of itself. It's so connected to this divine presence. It holds our hand and it leads us. And it is so real that when you understand and find it again, it is like coming back home. It's like you recognize it. You go, oh, it's me. It's who I always was. I know you. I know who you are. And the joy of like this return, which this brings up something that I keep noticing on, and I'm going to go back out into the world for a moment here. When I watch what's happening out in the world, it's like I see a lot of the suffering and destruction and wars are based on people trying to think that they have to destroy something in order to build again, and that keeps striking me as so it's wrong. That's not how this works, because in the light of truth, it isn't. Oh, they even do it in a lot of the sort of non-dual. It's sort of like get rid of. But there's not a getting rid of. It is a returning to. It isn't a destruction. It isn't a getting rid of. It isn't nothing is harmed. I mean, nothing is about hurting or destroying or getting rid of. It is about a return, a coming back, a turnaround, a going back to the beginning. Even Jesus says that in Gospel of Thomas. So you found the beginning, that you think you know what the end will be. It's like you must find the beginning. You must return. You must come back to. And that's why in the old-time religions they call it being the use of the words being born again. Coming back to. It's not that you destroy or demolish or have to start with a clean slate or have to start over again. It isn't anything like that. The human mind doesn't even know how to start from whose clean slate. I mean, who's going to make this? This is like such a human precept to me to think that you have to destroy and start over. This is like, wait a minute, it's already what you are. There's no destruction involved here. This is returning to something that has been with you all along, and it holds your hand all the way, and the coming home. It's a coming back. That's what's so beautiful about it, is this returning thing, this to find the beginning, to find that which is, it always is here. It's always here. It never goes away. It can't be destroyed. It's the foundation and the presence and the light of everything that is. It's the essence of all that is. It's indestructible. It's immutable. It's here. And the child is made of that. And it's finding ourself. It is finding ourself again. And that's what all that makes me want to mention, that it is about a return. It isn't about a getting rid of. And that's a major point that I think needs to be offered, to uncover, to find again, to come back, to go home, to turn around, to go back to your basic understanding that little kid knew. I mean, as a child, you knew things, and then it blossoms. When you come back again, it just blooms and flourishes and grows. And it's just what Bill says. It's as simple as being that kid again.
Let me continue with that. This is like an expository on what he's just said. That's really beautiful. Here's the next section of it, and I think it's worth finishing this because the whole section sort of builds on itself, and then it answers the classic question that we'll do right after I read this one. This one is called, and it's under the same heading, "There is an ageless mystery in our ability to find identity." As one reads these words about the child, and of course the child is capital C, the heart knows this is the truth, a truth hidden all these years in simplicity and childlikeness that we have left behind. When we are alone, we still play the child's game. While we are walking or driving or puttering with the pots, there's some little something we do in the mind's eye exactly as we did as a child. There are ships and ports and storms at sea when we wash the dishes or take a bath. Don't tell me you don't know what I'm talking about. Deep inside you do. You see, I am that child too, the same child, and I have become it again. I know by God, by the grace of God, what I'm writing about here. And I know that the first step in feeling the joys of the real, as we did as children, is to acknowledge that the original nature of us hasn't left us.
Beautiful. That's it. The original. You see, that's it. It is a return to the original, to the real. Oh, boy. He really has a way. How beautiful. And his way through that book, it dawned on me. I got it. And I just said, this is it. And when I found it, I knew exactly what he was talking about. And it is real. It is absolutely real, and it is the child, and he's got it. That's what happens. The original self, we find it again.
Okay, now here's the classic minds or world's next question, sort of a point counterpoint. The historic Christ and the child. And this is in the form of probably was a letter or a conversation, because they talk back and forth. And here's a question to Bill. Bill, are you saying that the early church substituted historic Jesus for the child? The answer, no. Churchdom has limited the Christ to the historic Jesus, and all of that has been done for a divine purpose the church seems to know little or nothing about. Everything that has happened is by God's grace. The historic Christ in linear time came, as all luminaries, to confirm our own subjective self, capital S, discovery. The historic Christ is the first begotten of the Father in world time, and the original believers had that straight. The discovery of the child within us is confirmed by the Bible and its accounts of the historic Christ and his role on earth. The child I am, capital C, I, and A, the child I am and you, capital U, that's a capital Y on the U, are comes